is the DodoWrestlingFan here today for a very different kind of video. I thought I would kick off my content in 2017 with something way different. You see, recently, the slightly before Christmas, I reached 1,000 Twitter followers. Now I have, well, I'm on my way to 1,200, which is just absolutely insane. So, over my times, I've gotten a lot of friends on Twitter, and I thought I'd do a Q&A as an excuse to make simple content for my YouTube channel, and as a way for them to kind of get to know me a little bit better on a personal scale. So I thought this would be interesting, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's just jump right into the question, shall we? Number 1 is at Sir Slenderman. When was the first time you watched anime, and what anime was it? The very first time I ever watched anime probably would have been around the age of 4, and I was flipping through Channel 29, which is YTV over here in Canada. And this would have been a show called Yu-Gi-Oh! It's Time to Duel. I think everyone kind of knows that show. And I literally only watched it because I had kind of a mild obsession and hard-on for Yugi's hair. Like, come on, look at that mane. That's ridiculously awesome, and you can't tell me not. But, yeah, that was pretty much the first time. It never left a super lasting effect on me, but I do remember being really excited for the series finale. I remember that. And I actually remember some of the cards that he would use as well, and I just kind of overall loved the Egyptian look to it. I always appreciated the look of anime, but yeah, I wasn't anything that I really growed up with. That was the first and really only anime I watched until recently, so I hope that answers a question right there. Question number 2 comes from KY Shiga. What brings you towards the bitch-ass Final Fantasy franchise? I was a big fan of hack and slash video games back in, I'd say, around 2014. Like some of those action games. Things like Sonic and Devil May Cry, like more action-based games. But one of my friends would always talk about Kingdom Hearts. The Kingdom Hearts this, Kingdom Hearts that. So I decided I'd get Kingdom Hearts 2 on the PlayStation 2, and I do not regret that decision at all. I adore that game still, despite the fact that Kingdom Hearts 1 is actually my favorite. So, the aspect that I like most about Kingdom Hearts, which most people would say would be the Disney, I actually don't give a flying crap about the Disney whatsoever. I adored the Square Enix segment, so the characters that I always took away would have been like the Sora, the Rikus, the Kairis, and the Organization 13. Those are the characters that I think of when I think of Kingdom Hearts. I don't think of Donald or Goofy or King Mickey or anybody like that. I think of like Roxas and Xion and people like that. And another thing that caught my eye was the Final Fantasy characters that were inside Kingdom Hearts. So people like Leon Lionheart, they changed his name in Kingdom Hearts. Don't ask me why. They do call him Squall at the beginning of 1. And that's his name in Final Fantasy VIII is Squall, but I digress. And Cloud Strife and Sephiroth, they really caught my eye. So I was inside a used game store one day, and I was kind of frustrated, I remember. I was not having a good November that year. It was November of last year, November of 2015. So I go inside this used store, and I see a copy of Final Fantasy X on the PlayStation 2 for $10. I had really wanted to get into it, and so I thought, I like Kingdom Hearts so much, I'll probably really enjoy this. So I took it home, I popped it in my PlayStation 2, and quite literally within the first minute I was hooked. Not even 2 hours into the game, I'd already went out and I'd bought 12, 10-2, 13, 13-2, and 13-3. I'd bought 5 games from just 2 hours worth of Final Fantasy X, and Final Fantasy X left a very lasting impression on me that I'll never forget. So it kind of changed my whole perspective on gaming, and slowly but surely Final Fantasy became my favorite video game franchise. And right now, as we speak, I'm playing 15 and I'm loving every single second of it. And like I said, the characters just kind of feel more real than any other series. And I love the design of the characters. The personalities, the stories, the gameplay, I don't know, there's just something about it that just clicked with me way harder than any other franchise. So I guess that is what drew me. It was technically Kingdom Hearts that drew me into Final Fantasy. And then from there on, I just kind of went with the flow. Question number 3 comes from @HamRonnie. When did you first learn of hentai? I'm gonna try to figure this out. I want to answer a true response here. I think it would have been around when I was 13 or 14. I'll probably say 14. and I think it was something to do with Sonic fan art. So I was looking at Sonic fan art, and I was like, oh god, what the hell is this? It was this Rule 34 type shit. And I was like, this shit is just the most cringy stuff imaginable. But then I actually logged up hentai, and I was like, oh, these anime girls actually don't look half bad. So, as silly as it sounds, yeah, it was actually a Sonic obsession. That's how I found hentai. I was just like, eh. And again, like Kingdom Hearts with Final Fantasy, I just kind of rolled with it. So, yeah, that's how I am at Hentai King Dodo on YouTube now. Not on YouTube, but on Twitter now. So, not quite a big story there, but I guess it does answer your question, is that I saw the word hentai, I logged it up, and I was just like, I like that. I like that. So, next question comes from @SmashDiscuss. What's your perspective on pedophilia? Boy, that's a pretty, dark question. At best, two are pretty odd questions, but I'll still answer them. Pedophilia is bad, okay? And you're gonna go to hell, and it's bad, and touching kids in bad places is just wrong. Unless it's lolicon hentai, then it's cool. It's cool with me, you know. I don't care if you like that lolicon. If you have a little girl anime complex, that's fine with me. It isn't real, right? But jokes aside, it's pretty terrible, and pedo bear is bad. Okay, pedo bear, bad touch on people. Do not go near the pedo bear's children. Just stay away. Stay away. If you ever see a white van with a man with a weak chin and glasses that's offering you candy, stay the hell away from that machine, alright? Stay the hell away from them. Next question comes from @pink_Vegeta. What inspired you to come to Twitter and do what you do? Now, that's actually a really nice question. It was the spring of last year. I remember it quite thoroughly. My dad was playing a show for the better part of a month in another town, and I just kind of felt that life was changing at that time. I still remember the day where I made my Twitter. My mom and I were downtown. It was probably the most gorgeous May day you could imagine. The temperature was perfect. There were birds chirping, the leaves, the flowers, everything. It was like you picture a picture-perfect day, and that's what the day it was. And so Mom and I, we have like a really nice town square where I live. So, because I'm a Canadian, we have poutine, so Mom and I, we sat and we ate poutine in the town square, and I just kind of felt evolution happening before me. As corny as it sounds, I felt like my life was going to change very soon. And it did change very soon. But that's a very, very personal topic that I'm not getting into on YouTube. But I decided that night that I would make a Twitter account, and I made a Twitter account because I knew that I had 2 friends that would at least acknowledge me at the time on Twitter, and I was like, well, I'll at least have 2 followers if I do it. Let's make social media. I was always hating on social media before I made my Twitter, and then I made my Twitter, and then I just kind of found out that it was pretty much a balls-to-the-walls place where you could do anything you want. And then there were tons of friends that I met inside a little group called Lone Comrades that really helped me evolve, and my humor evolved, and they kind of, sort of, as corny, like I said, as corny as that sounds, they kind of made me into the man I am today on Twitter. I am a very, very silly man, but I'm also quite smart and helpful when time comes. So that's kind of what inspired me. It's just I felt like my life was changing and I wanted to try something new, and so I tried something new and it really worked out. And lastly, we have 3 questions from @plant_commander. What's your favorite guitar and why? My favorite guitar, hands down, would be a guitar that I've had for the better part of a decade. It would be a Lion by Washburn. I'm actually holding it in my hand as we speak. It says L7T24, and it's literally just perfect for me. It's just a really solid guitar. Like, literally, I've put the thing through hell and back, and yet it still stands. I've learned all my first chords on it. I've learned pretty much all my songs on it. Like, this is my baby. I know you can't see it, but I'm holding it in my hands. Like, this is literally my baby, and that'll never change. I did recently get an Ibanez Geo, which I'm also very fond of, but this Washburn Lion, it's a Paul Reed Smith type copy of a guitar. But from the build of it, you would never be able to guess that it's a knockoff Paul Reed Smith. It really does feel like it's a real thing. it can do anything you want. I mainly play heavy metal, of course, but if you ever want if you want to play jazz on the thing, if you want to play blues on the thing, go ahead. The thing is just so versatile and it does everything so well. It's 24 frets, the action is really low, and everything just feels so nice, even after all these years. I play it every day. It's completely worn into my hands and how I play, and I just love it. Next question from Plant Commander. Game that infuriated you the most? Oh man, there are many video games which have infuriated me beyond belief. But I'd say that there's one that really holds true to me, and that would be none other than Mega Man 9. I didn't even buy the game. That's an odd thing, is that my brother, we have a hacked Wii at our house, and my brother hacked our Wii, and so he downloaded Mega Man 9. Like, this is not even that long ago. This is like last year, 1 or 2 years ago, so this was even after like Wii Shop had been discontinued and stuff. So don't worry, I'm not doing anything illegal here, people. But so I downloaded it and I played it, and none of the stages were any fun. They were just hard for the sake of being hard. I thought the level design was crap. I hated the bosses. I hated the powers. And as I typically love Mega Man, I was determined to beat the game. But I actually never did. I made it to Wily Castle Stage 3, which is, there's this gravity room. I can't really describe it, but basically, Mega Man will get kind of thrown up into the air, up and down, and the gravity will always change, and like the screen will go to the side. It's really strange. And there's spikes everywhere, and I just had the most hard time getting past this one section. And as you know, spikes are instant kill in Mega Man, so it was just horrible. And once I made it past that part, there's this platforming section with a few enemies, and I was down to 1 life. And this one enemy hit me in midair, and because the game is old school and has knockback, that's a pet peeve of mine, knockback. The only game where I'm okay with knockback is the original Castlevania. It's because I think the knockback kind of gives it a sick kind of charm, as odd as that sounds, but yeah, I was about to meet the boss of Wily Stage 3, and an enemy cut me off in midair, and that's when I lost it, and I was never going to play the game again, and I have yet to touch it again, and I have zero intentions of ever playing Mega Man 9 again. I hated everything to do with the game. And also Mighty Number 9, while we're speaking of another Mega Man type game with the number 9. I don't think 9 and Mega Man should ever be put together, ever. There was another part in one stage, like it was the Robot Factory stage in Mighty Number 9. And there's this part where you have to use ABI or Abby's helicopter type ability, like the propeller ability, to get past these spikes. It was a mess. It frustrated me beyond belief, but I actually beat Mighty Number 9. Give myself that. I actually beat it, so go team! And final question would be, what are your most used effects? Built-in in an amp or in pedals? My most used effects, I actually use a zoom. I've always used a zoom. I recently got a zoom, and I cannot remember for the life of me what kind it is. Just let me hold up. I'm actually going to grab it as we speak. It is a Zoom G1 XN EXT. Which was, it's a top-of-the-line older model, and I think it's really good. I use like some of the sounds on it, like for my cleans, I switch to it. It's a really handy little device, and it's one of the ones with the foot pedal on it. That's how you know it's the top of the line, because the zooms with the foot pedal are the ones that are always the top of the line. The ones that just come as a box, those are the standard issue. And as for an amp, I use a Line 6. And it has tons of built-in effects as well, and I use lots of chorus and reverb. So yeah, bass, distortion, chorus, reverb, but chorus is hands down my favorite sound effect. It gives everything a nice shimmer, sounds fantastic on a nice distorted sound, sounds great for lead sound, sounds great for rhythm, sounds great for clean. Because with a chorus on clean, you get that nice sort of attack, that shack sort of sound, and it's just beautiful. I love chorus. So yeah, chorus is technically my most used sound effect, chorus and reverb. And as for guitars, as I said, I use a Washburn line mainly, but every now and again I also use an Ibanez Geo, which is also a pretty good guitar as well. And I actually really like the Ibanez Geo. But yeah, so basically I use a Zoom, a Line 6 amp, and just whatever guitars I have lying around. Basically, tone comes from the heart, not from the gear, and I have the heart of a metalhead. So make sure that you remember that no matter how great of gear you have, you gotta make the tone come from your soul. It's cheesy, but it's true. You have to You have to be that sound that hurt to get the sound that you want. And that's pretty much it for this question and answers. Yes, it is. So make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe for more question and answers, possibly down the line. So who knows, next time I might do one of these. This was actually a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed interacting with you guys in this way. So pretty much this is it. Yeah, this is it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. This is the Dodo Wrestling Fan, signing out.